Welcome to another episode from our show, Anything Goes. In a few days, we're going to have a celebration for 1 year anniversary since the departure of our beloved Pope Shenouda. Almost all the youth that I know have not known any other Pope but Pope Shenouda. And now they know in their life the second Pope, Pope Tawadros II. With a lot of feelings, emotions, mixed joy and mixed maybe somewhat, we missed you. We're going to go through our feelings with 4 of our best youth here in Anything Goes. I welcome here Brandon, Lydia, Sylvia, and Paula. So, Brandon, I'll start with you. You are initially from California, right?
Yes, from Las Vegas.
Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we should say to the audience? All right, we'll not take that against you, but I don't think Pope Shenouda ever visited this part of California, right?
No.
Not to my knowledge. But nevertheless, I'm sure you, as every other youth, had been touched by Pope Shenouda's legacy. Let me start by asking, what's the most important characteristic or feature that you think you will never forget?
Well, I think his most important feature was his humility, whether it was in the service or when he referred back to his monastic life. When he took off, the cross and his garments, his outer garments, he was back to the original monk. So I think him keeping that humility throughout his life, from being a monk to becoming Pope, really was his most important characteristic to me.
So. I see. And Sylvia, what's your opinion?
I think his ability to answer difficult questions that he was faced with maybe not ease, but such eloquence that the other person just like understood, or their answer was like sufficient for them to get it, like, and it stopped them in their tracks. It was always something that was new, or it wasn't a plain answer. It wasn't ambiguous. It answered the question perfectly, and you just got it.
So he would answer very deeply but very simply.
Yes.
So even the simple-minded person would still get.
Yeah, simple-minded like
point.
me.
No, I mean I'm talking about layman, uneducated. He would really answer questions that would really grasp their minds, but at the same time very simple to understand. What do you think? What's the most important feature you will never forget about our Pope?
I would take that from Sylvia too. It's like very simple, very reachable to all the levels. I remember I started reading for him like since I was like maybe 13, 14.
Really? Yeah.
I have all his series and everything. It's very, very convenient for all the ages and everybody.
What
like
year you came into the States? How old were you when you came in?
20.
So you were reading for him in Arabic then, most
Yeah.
of the times, I see. And you were reading for him since you were 13?
Yeah,
And
he has a lot of even translated books
Right,
in English
sure.
and French,
Sure.
but mostly in Arabic, yeah.
Yeah. Paula, what's the important feature about Pope Shenouda that you think you will never forget?
Like the thing that strikes me about Pope Shenouda is how strong, spiritually strong he is. And even during the tough time Egypt was going through and still going through, he was able to stand for Copts and for our beliefs. And at the same time, he would always have a smile on his face. That just hits me.
I mean, the word smile, I would share with you the same agreement that every time I look at his face and his smile is as wide as his face, I mean, he would laugh like a child, and sometimes in the midst of the worst troubles going on, he had this simple heart that ready to take off and be joyful and be happy. And I think the Holy Spirit were really the spirit of joy.
He's really too close to the people. Like, I guess he's the only Pope that he has a set date during the week on Wednesday to have a lecture, and everybody could come and everybody can enjoy that, and he has questions and give them an opportunity to say whatever they ask him. And
Pope Tawadros is following his path in this way, and he has also his only, he's just started his weekly lectures as well. Since you were the last one who spoke, I'll ask you again. This Pope, books were written about him. I believe there is a major movie with a lot of expenditure is being done or maybe already done. Accomplishments. What's the accomplishment that you think history should never forget?
All over the world, he conquered everywhere, every place in the whole world. You can see a Coptic Orthodox Church,
Yeah.
which was never been before.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go. Europe, I've been to Italy, I've seen 3 or 4, especially the monasteries, monks, priests, a lot of people that he gathered his people to go and to be in the church. Europe, the States, Canada, Australia, everywhere, even China. They have a big church over there, but
Really?
yeah, the Coptic Orthodox Church.
And where, in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
I see. Of course, Bolivia, Africa, of course, all the continents. So the Coptic Church, in his time, in his legacy, really had spread to all over the diaspora. And we are now doing COIC here in New York, thanks to him. Maybe I would have never immigrated, except I knew that he had a very strong church for me to come here and stay in, and I guess you have the same thing. Paula, what, in your opinion, the major accomplishment?
Like Lydia said, I think he built the most churches that any Coptic Pope ever built before. But Pope Shenouda did something like I feel it's very, I don't know how to say it.
Unique?
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah.
He brought the monastery life to the life of the people. Like before, you want to hear people doing tasbihah or ashaya or akbaya. People, only monks used to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now ordinary people are getting involved in those kind of prayers and those kind of praises.
So bringing liturgical life outside the monastery to normal people like you and me, and now they are practicing what monks and priests are doing. In your opinion, the best accomplishment?
Lydia and Paula put it very well, but also for me, the hymns, not only of the liturgy, but also like the praises that we sing outside of like the rites, outside of Ashaya and liturgy, like O Seeker, he wrote them like on his own, of his own accord. Yeah, his poems, that we turn into praises. That being a singer myself, I love any kinds of praises, and they're so beautifully written. More so in Arabic than in English because they were written in that language, but they're beautiful nevertheless, and it fills me with joy to sing them.
Yeah, he had this sensitive taste, if you may call it. And the words, and I write, but I don't write poems, I write other things, but you feel like you are in front of a miracle. This guy, in spite of all his busy schedule, he is a pope of the whole Coptic world. He is in charge of, 10, 12 million people. He is in the midst of all the politics and all the, push and pull. And then he will come up with this sensitive words and about, this is my rope, you can take it, my spirit is not in it. I will keep my purity even if you have to take my rope. And of course he was quoting Joseph and Potiphar's wife. Brandon, what do you think? His best, in your opinion, accomplishment?
In a life filled with many accomplishments, and I think his greatest accomplishment was opening up the church to the world, showing the world the history of the Coptic Orthodox Church. Before Pope Shenouda's time, the church was relatively unknown, was relatively small. He opened it up, allowed archaeologists to come into the monastery and excavate many tombs and to see many of the old-fashioned monastic sites and holy sites in Egypt. So I think just allowing the world to experience the Coptic Orthodox Church, to really see what we go through, our faith, our history, and eventually where we'll be in the next coming years. This is great.
Well said. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back for more about Pope Shenouda in Anything Goes. Stay with us, please. Thank you for staying with us with Anything Goes, and a special episode about Pope Shenouda and his legacy after 1 year from his departure. Paula, I mean, we are all here. You guys are all in your 20s or so. Youth in the immigration land. How did he influence you? How did he help, or what did he do to the youth in the immigration land?
Well, when I came here, I thought I was going to come to this country, and I thought everything would be different, like my life would be different. But because I used to go to church.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
I used to, in Egypt, you go to church, basically your routine, you go to school, and then on weekends you go to church, you meet with your friends.
Right.
And then you go back to school.
Yeah. So you thought when you come in here...
there was going to be school and no church, no nothing.
I see.
No Egyptians, none of that. But...
you have lots of those.
Yeah, we have lots of them.
Okay.
And the environment is the same. It's the same environment. There's no... It doesn't feel much different. And also the same level of spirituality. Like I thought I'd come here and see people acting differently, people not the relationship with God is not.
So from a youth point of view, you think the spirituality of the youth here, thanks to Pope Shenouda, and of course all the leaders here, is not too different?
Yeah, it's not too different.
I see. Okay. Brandon, you may disagree, you may follow a different path, but how has Pope Shenouda influenced the youth in the immigration land?
I think his influence is through the clergy he appointed in the immigration land. He had an ability to appoint the right, through God's will, of course, the right priests, the right bishops, the bishops that would sort of bring churches together, and they were able to establish Sunday school curriculums and things like that. So I think his ability to appoint priests and bishops and servants that really connected the youth to the church, his ability to pick out people and to really understand people's abilities, help the youth in the immigration land.
And Lydia?
Totally agree with Paul and Brandon, because of whatever Sunday school and the curriculums, and you feel like you follow the steps of Egypt's leads, so nothing changed about that. You don't feel the difference. I love him when he reached every Christmas or every Easter, when he reached out to all the immigrants. And
his messages.
His messages, it feels like you never left out. You're always there, and we all in his mind and his heart and his prayers. So it's something that keep us, close to our mother church.
Yeah. What do you think?
I completely agree with Lydia. I think that, especially I don't know if he wrote the letters in both Arabic and English, but it made a world of difference to have it read in Arabic, and then for me to actually understand, because English is just easier for me to understand it in English. It was great, and apart from them being beautifully written, they always had a great message.
Actually, Pope Shenouda, just to follow the comment, I'm not trying to modify it, but Pope Shenouda not only writes in Arabic, but he speaks very eloquent English.
7 languages.
He speaks
seven
languages.
7 languages.
Really?
He's fluent in it.
I'm sure one of them is Coptic. So I'm pretty sure he writes his own, or he did write his own. And I'm sure you guys may have been young, but at one time Pope Shenouda used to come on a yearly basis after his visit and sort of clergy meeting in Boston. He used to hold a youth meeting in Long Island Church here in New York.
I attended
And
one of those.
you probably were in high school at that time, and his lecture was very funny and all in English, and there was probably close to 1,000 youth at that time between high school, college, and graduates. So fully agree with you about language. You never finished your thought though.
Yeah, I honestly, in this time of technology, I think the greatest thing that he did for the youth was made church, bringing the Coptic Church to the lands of much advanced technology, just was one of the motivations that my parents brought me here for. And when I grow up with technology, but then being able to access the Coptic Church through my technology just makes it all the more accessible. And I mean, I carry my Agbeya and Bible and any Coptic reading I want all the time in my pocket.
On your phone.
I mean, that's unfathomable.
Yeah. Brandon, let me move to a different question. I wonder, and I think we believe, that Pope Shenouda hears our words. What would you say to him in 1 year that he hasn't been with us?
I would thank him. I mean, besides the obvious thanking, there's the meaning, the personal attachment that he could have with each person individually. You would just have to thank him for everything he's done. Even if you've never met him, you can ask people and they say, well, he did this and this for me, and he did this and this for me, and he helped me in this way. And he's never met him. So in this way, I thank him for everything he's done, for his help, for his he grew tired and he helped us through everything. So
yeah,
it's the thanks I think is the most.
So if you were to talk to him now, you would say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And how does it feel now, looking back, like a memoir, I guess, of the past 40 years? I think that would be interesting to read, if there was a memoir of Pope Shenouda's 40 years.
What you are saying is, do you think Pope Shenouda in heavens now sort of saying, all this tiredness was worth it? Is that what you mean? Yeah, all this labor was trivial compared to the glory I'm in.
Yeah.
Nice. Sylvia, talk to him.
I believe he wrote the book, Have You Seen the One I Love?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to ask him if he finally saw the one he loves?
Yeah.
I want, besides, of course, thanking him for the incredible feats he's accomplished, just speak to him about how I'm sure his spirit is youthful up there, you know, dancing among the angels. Just want to talk to him about that.
Lydia, whom do you think met him first?
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And then his mother.
His own mother.
He was so passionate to meet her.
His own mother, whom he had never met.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure this group knows, but he really never saw his mom because she died right close after his birth. I like that. Anything else? Anyone else? Immediately. I mean, you probably now is being taken for visitations all over the heaven.
Of course, and Pope Carolus, he'd be like,
yeah.
Good job, well done.
I appointed the right man. Okay. So what would you say to Pope Shenouda today if you were to talk to him in heaven?
We thank him and I miss him. I want to tell him that I've learned how to live my spiritual life practically in my life, in a practical way that very simple, to the point that you really can't live your spiritual life. It's not just by the book and something that you really have to work hard for it. It's very simple with him. And this is how we learn our spiritual life to be, and how to be living with God every moment in your life. It's not something just in the church, but it's something that you carry on every time you breathe. It just...
What would you say to Pope Shenouda? I want you to imagine you talking to him now.
I would say thank you for everything, and what I would really say, I'd say I love you so much, man. Like all the sermons, all the guidance, everything he says in his videos is just amazing. I'd also not just speak, but I would ask him have half of his wisdom, half of his humility, at least half of his love towards God. That's pretty much.
I will ask 10%, I'll be content. But I mean, you are more ambitious, so. I mean, I know what to say myself to Pope Shenouda, but I will tell him I miss you very much, and it's a year past that we never really thought how great you were until you left us. I think we took you so much for granted, our Pope. We knew that you were great, but we touched your greatness even more after you departed. I want to tell you that your youth, your kids, your sons and daughters will follow through the pathway that you started, so one day we could meet again, kiss your hands as we used to do here. I want to tell you that you left us a great Pope, a good disciple of yours, and I'm really asking you to pray for him. I want to tell you that Egypt is going through a very, very tough time, and I wish you were here, but I think you are much better off there, because you could do much better to Egypt there than you could have done here. It's just my human nature is wondering if you were here, I would have felt peaceful, but I know my faith is telling me that your prayers up there, praying to Egypt and for all the Egyptians, is much more stronger than would have been here. Pope Shenouda, we sent you this gift, this little episode, and the whole COIC is really a gift from you to us, and now we gift it back to you. But I can tell you, it's not the same without you, but we will keep going the same way you taught us, so one day we can meet and celebrate in front of the throne, the heavenly throne. This is Anything Goes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope to see you soon. God bless and thank you.